An anime begins with Bai, a poor and unlucky loser who once believed life after university would finally become easier, but reality threw him into a boring office job where every single day felt like punishment. He had no money, no respect, and no freedom. Every morning, he ran to work like a criminal just to avoid being late, bought the cheapest lunch because his wallet was almost empty, and secretly played mobile games in the office, while his scary boss watched him like a thief waiting to be caught. But one night, after his manager forced him to do overtime, Bai's phone fell into a trash bin, and suddenly, a mysterious system turned on. In the next second, Bai disappeared and woke up back in his university days. But this was not a normal second chance, because now Bai had received a powerful system that would make him the strongest and richest person on Earth. An anime begins with Bai, a miserable company employee sprinting toward work as if one late punch-in could destroy his entire life. And we quickly learn that he is just a normal young man who finished university, got an ordinary job, and somehow got trapped under a manager whose mind feels more exhausting than the work itself. Anyway, Bai finally reaches the train station when the gates are already about to close, but he throws himself forward and barely slips through at the final moment. The clock is almost 9, yet he still manages to record his attendance in the last second, and somehow another painful office day starts moving. He keeps working quietly, then after a while hunger hits him and he starts thinking about what he should order for lunch. But because his wallet is almost empty, he keeps comparing offers, discounts, and cheap meals just to find the lowest price with the best deal. After eating, he decides to play a little on his phone to relax his mind. But the moment he sees his manager passing by, he instantly changes the screen and opens something else like he has been working seriously the whole time. The manager stands behind him and watches, yet luckily he does not notice anything, so Bai continues playing, although his boss keeps roaming around like a hunter waiting for one tiny mistake, sneaking near him again and again to catch him in the act. By 6 in the evening, Bai becomes the first person to shut down his computer and get ready to go home, but his manager suddenly stops him and asks, "Where is the presentation copy?" Bai says, "But isn't that due next week?" The manager coldly replies, "No, I need it now." Bai feels like his soul has been punched, and inside his imagination he finally becomes brave, thinking, "No, I'm not working today, and if you fire me, don't forget my compensation, or I'll file a case against you with my Uncle One Piece." But sadly, all that courage only exists inside his head, and in real life he simply lowers his voice and says, "Okay, I'll stay overtime until I finish it." So Bai sits alone in the office while everyone else leaves, and as the night gets heavier, the lights suddenly go out. At the same time, he sees a message on his phone from his friend Yang, who has sent him a link for a luck test, but while Bai is holding the phone, it accidentally drops into the trash bin. When he bends down to pick it up, the screen shows a strange line saying, "Cat transformation system will now activate." Before Bai can understand anything, the phone shines with a blinding light, magical symbols fly around him, and the whole room feels like it has been pulled into another world. In one strange second, Bai gets dragged into the trash bin and disappears. Then his friend Yang wakes him up and says, "Get up fast, we have a lecture with the dean, and he's going to take attendance." Bai opens his eyes in shock, looks around, and realizes he is inside a student dorm room. It becomes clear that he has returned to his college days, back when he was still a first-year freshman. He sits there stunned and keeps asking himself what just happened, whether he really went back to the past, and for a moment he thinks about going to the lecture. But then he remembers that the dean never actually took attendance. In fact, another professor once fooled everyone by saying attendance was not important, then failed the whole class at the end of the term. Bai starts thinking deeply and says to himself, "This is my chance. I can start again and change my future instead of ending up in that dead job with that soul-killing boss." Just then, he almost falls. But the same magical system activates again and introduces itself as Rishi, the luck conversion system. Rishi tells Bai that it has come to help him become rich and will start by giving him 50,000 yuan. The moment Bai hears the amount, his eyes light up and he instantly starts dreaming about everything he can buy. But Rishi continues and explains that the system will give him money in rounds. This makes him even more stubborn, and he decides to give the game everything he has just to beat the challenge. Still, finishing it is not easy, and frustration keeps building until a notification appears saying that something is waiting at the end of the road. That one line traps him completely, so he continues playing for hours. As the empty road keeps stretching ahead, Zhao starts thinking about his own life, and at some point he feels like he has reached spiritual enlightenment. But when he finally reaches the end, the game simply says, "Congratulations, you wasted 8 hours of your life." Zhao loses his mind and calls the game a giant scam. We return to Bai sitting in class while Rishi shows him the data and says there are 11 days left before the deadline. Bai is extremely happy because no one is downloading his game, and he thinks he is about to turn losses into gold. But then he suddenly hears his classmates talking about the game and discovers it has become a trend. He runs home in disbelief, opens his laptop, and finds that the game has become famous because Zhao made a video telling people not to play it since it was boring and wasted his time. But instead of of avoiding it, people become even more curious and start buying the game. Yang comes to Bai and says they should try the game to see what is inside it, but Bai refuses because the situation has become dangerous, since he never wanted the game to succeed. He changes the game description to push people toward refunds, but players reply that refunding is too annoying, so they decide to let him keep the money. A few days later, Yang tells Bai that he played the game and still cannot understand how it became popular, because it is clearly bad, yet somehow he cannot stop playing it. Bai says people were never supposed to play it in the first place, and he falls into frustration. In another scene, we meet Lee, a rich man who owns a huge gaming company. His secretary tells him that the desert road has started spreading, but she says it is not worth attention because it only costs 1 yuan and will not bring much profit. Lee replies that he does not care about money because his real goal is to control the market. Then he fires her because she cannot see his vision. Meanwhile, Bai searches online for ways to lose money, but unfortunately nobody teaches that. Then the settlement arrives, and because his game earned 70,000 yuan, the system conversion gives him only 700 yuan. Rishi congratulates him for the game's success, but Bai feels miserable because he wanted to lose, not win. Rishi tells him that in the second round, he will receive 300,000 yuan and have 30 days to spend it, but he must use the money on a real project. Bai returns to the dorm, and Yang tells him to join them in an online game called Real. Bai agrees with an annoyed mood, enters the match, and they lose because Yang plays terribly. Everyone scolds Yang, but after the match, Bai suddenly realizes that Yang might be the perfect key to losing money. Bai walks up to Yang while he is sleeping, but Yang wakes up terrified, starts shouting, and wakes the whole building. The next day, Bai keeps following Yang until Yang finally gets angry and asks what he wants. Bai says, "I want you to help me make a game." People around them misunderstand the situation and Yang tries to run away, but Bai stops him by saying, "I'm the one who made the desert road, and I earned 300,000 yuan. Yang is shocked and calls him a genius, then agrees to work with him and says he will buy programming books. He returns to the dorm with many books, but Bai secretly feels happy and thinks this is perfect because they do not need a programmer when ready-made platforms already exist. Yang tries reading the books anyway, but falls asleep on the first page, and Bai becomes even more confident that the failure plan is moving smoothly. After that, Bai starts planning a new game and decides it must be different from his first one. He first thinks of spending all the money on a huge game and then ruining it, but Rishi warns him that he will be punished if he does that, so Bai changes direction. He realizes mobile gamers do not know his company, which means a mobile game is safer for failure. He thinks about card games because poker style and card games are popular, but many of them fail because they simply copy a game called 3 Kingdoms. So Bai decides to create the worst card game in the world. He tells Yang that they will hire artists to help with the designs. Yang says there are cheaper ways, but Bai says they need to spend heavily because the goal is to burn all the money. They go to a restaurant and Bai tells Yang to change the character stories. Yang gets nervous and says that this might ruin the game, but Bai tells him not to worry because they are inventing something new and he should let his imagination run wild. So Yang starts thinking and decides to turn the characters into strange creatures. Bai looks at Yang and says, "Bro, you're actually a genius," then officially hires him and tells him he will get 3,000 yuan every month, which makes Yang so happy he almost flies out of his own body. At the same time, Lee's new assistant tells him that the 3 Kingdoms game is losing players because getting rare cards has become too difficult, but Lee coldly says that if they make the game easier, it will stop being addictive, so card games are already collapsing and they should just let it die peacefully. Then Lee's assistant tells him that Bai's company seems to be planning to copy 3 Kingdoms and says it looks like they have no creativity at all, but Lee answers with full confidence and says, "I'm the one who chose the theme of that game, genius." The moment he feels like the assistant is questioning his ability, he simply says the assistant is not suitable for the company and fires him on the spot. We return to Bai, who is laughing at Yang's strange ideas because he feels their game is going to become a complete joke. He opens his laptop and starts searching for an artist, looking through ugly character designs until one person finally catches his attention, and Bai thinks, yes, this guy will be the perfect helper for failure. The next day, Yang suggests that they should turn the characters into girls, but Bai instantly rejects the idea because he is scared the game might become successful, so he says, no, if we do that, the characters will lose their unique feeling. Yang believes him, of course, while Bai secretly thinks, oh my god, this guy is seriously dumb. Later, they ride a boat on the water, and Bai tells Yang that they need need to focus on character design, so they should hire a skilled artist, but deep down Bai does not want success at all, which means he does not actually want a skilled artist. Yang misunderstands him and thinks Bai is worried the artist might steal the spotlight, so he says, "Don't worry, we can make the gameplay more important than the art, and I can even draw the characters myself." Bai quickly says, "Forget that, let's waste some money and hire a beginner artist." Their argument becomes so heated that the boat flips over with them inside it, and even their guide starts drowning. They decide to save him, but he keeps shouting, "Leave me alone! You two caused all of this!" After that, Bai tells Yang about the artist he found, explaining that this person draws tiny cartoon-like characters, and somehow he convinces Yang that this strange style will make the game look completely different. Yang asks for the contact details, and Bai says his name is G and they will talk to him soon through a video meeting. During the video call, Yang explains their game idea to G, while Bai tells him they need 50 complete character designs and gives him full creative freedom, only asking him not to draw cheap-looking characters. G becomes confused and asks why they want to hire him if his whole style looks like that, so Bai smoothly says, "Because we see a rare talent in you." G agrees, but asks for 2,000 yuan per character. Yang immediately says that is too expensive, but Bai jumps in and says they will pay him 3,500 yuan for each character. G is stunned and says, "Guys, that's way too much." But Rishi quickly appears and warns Bai that raising the price without a proper reason breaks the rules. Bai quickly fixes it and says, "Fine, then this price includes all future revisions too." Rishi pulls back the warning and accepts it, but the truth is Bai has no plan to ask for any revisions at all. He tells G, "Draw however you want. We believe in you," and gives him 2 weeks to finish everything. After the meeting, Yang says he does not like G and feels like the guy is arrogant, but Bai says, "Maybe you're just overthinking it," while in reality, he leaves Yang to deal with G so Yang can watch him, because Bai wants the designs to come out terrible. While sitting alone and thinking about how to make people hate the game, Bai decides to raise the price to 10 yuan, double the price of 3 kingdoms, then thinks about adding a lifetime subscription that lets players draw unlimited cards, because that will make the game extremely boring, since players usually enjoy struggling to get rare cards. He keeps searching for the worst game template he can find, and finally discovers a failed project that tried to copy 3 kingdoms and looks honestly terrifying. So he tells himself, "This is the one. I'm buying it." We then move to G, who meets his team and tells them about the job. The whole team thinks the game already looks ruined, the character descriptions make no sense, and they start saying this must be some kind of scam. But G tells them the client has already paid in advance and has given them complete artistic freedom, so they decide to put everything into it and say this is their chance to prove themselves. G suggests using the new art style he invented, but the others say they have not fully mastered it yet. G says he will draw the main parts and they can polish the details, then tells them they must create something amazing. And yes, they work with full energy and finish everything before the deadline. Back at the dorm, Yang tells Bai that G has finished the designs and asks if he wants to see them, but Bai says he does not care, and if Yang thinks they are fine, he should put them directly into the game. He tells him to name the project Phantom General, then casually goes to sleep. The next day, Yang tells him there are no bugs in the game and asks if they should release it, so Bai says, "Go ahead, upload it as a very normal card game." Yang thinks Bai is using some kind of reverse psychology strategy, but in reality, Bai's only goal is to lose money so he can earn more. Then we move to a wild scene where Yang is being beaten by his dorm mates because they lost another game, and they grab him while shouting that he is the reason they failed. Suddenly, Bai appears, pulls Yang away, and asks why the game designs look so polished, then asks if Yang stole the designs from someone else. Yang says everything is G's work, and Bai is completely shocked because he thought this artist would ruin them, not turn out to be a hidden genius. Yang is very happy with the designs and sees them as true artwork, but Bai becomes irritated and says the designs are too good. Yang cannot understand why Bai is upset when G did such amazing work, so Bai says the reason is that they did not pay G enough, but the real truth is something else entirely. Bai wanted G to make ugly designs so the game would fail. Yang leaves in confusion, and Bai keeps telling himself that he regrets hiring G because the game now looks too good and might actually succeed because of him. Still, when he remembers that many failed games also had beautiful designs, he gets a little hope that his game can still collapse. On the same day, Yang comes to Bai and says that 100 people have downloaded Phantom General, but all of them left negative reviews. Bai becomes extremely happy after hearing this and thinks, that's it, the game is finished now. But Yang suspects someone may have hired people to write bad comments. Bai pretends to be upset, yet inside his heart he is thanking those people for ruining the game's reputation. Yang thinks Bai is a noble person who does not get affected by this kind of thing, and that makes him respect Bai even more. A little later, Yang is playing the desert road while talking to Ji, and he asks if there is any problem with the designs, but then tells him he did an excellent job. While they are talking, Ji's friends arrive and say they are lucky to work with such a kind client like Bai, especially since he paid them more than required. They look at the game and wonder why it is not growing, even though it was made by the same company that created the desert road, the game everyone already knows. Ji decides to try it himself and notices that the gameplay is simple, but his designs have special effects placed on them that make them look incredible. He manages to get rare cards and keeps playing, but then he suddenly notices something strange. He calls Yang and asks why there is only one thing for sale and why it is so cheap, a lifetime subscription for only 3 yuan. Yang says, yes, because Bai does not want to sell too many things. He just wants people to enjoy the game. Ji is shocked and asks how that makes sense, questioning whether Bai does not want to earn money. Yang explains that Bai does not care about profit at all. Ji becomes deeply touched and says, wow, he really is a respectable person. I have to help him. He ends the call, but then we discover that Yang was acting the whole time, pretending to be sad about the game. Ji goes back to his team and tells them Bai does not care about money and only wants players to have fun. So everyone becomes excited and says this is the complete opposite of greedy game companies that only chase profit. Because of this, they decide to help him. We return to Bai, who believes the game has finally failed and starts dreaming about the 300,000 yuan he will earn from the loss, but suddenly, Yang grabs him and says the game has exploded and is spreading like wildfire. Bai is stunned and says, how? I didn't even promote it. He opens his phone and finds countless positive reviews, leaving him completely confused. He calls Ji and asks if he promoted the game. Ji says he showed it to people in the design community, and they all love the artwork, so he wanted to help. His friends are surprised and ask how someone who hates dealing with people decided to do something like this, and Ji says it is because Bai is a respectable person and he wants him to succeed. Then Ji starts spreading the game and describing Bai as a kind-hearted creator, which makes people excited, and they begin leaving positive reviews until the game becomes a trend. Bai cannot understand it and asks why Ji did all this without even getting extra money. Ji says he simply wants to see Bai succeed, even if he gains nothing from it. Bai looks a little sad because he knows this means he will not earn much from losses, but he still thanks Ji warmly. Meanwhile, Yang is analyzing the early negative reviews and wonders who sent those trolls. Then we move to Li with his assistant, who tells him Bai's game is close to surpassing 3 kingdoms, and it is revealed that Li was the one who paid people to write negative comments on Bai's game. Li had noticed that Bai chose to make a game similar to his own, and to prove that he was better, he tells his assistant, I'm going to buy Bai's company, it's time to carry out our plan. At that moment, Bai is hiding in the bathroom, making sure no one can hear him, and he calls customer service, asking them to remove his game from the recommendation list. The girl is surprised and says this is a strange request, and she will need to ask the higher-ups, but Rishi suddenly appears and tells Bai that he is violating the rules. Bai has no choice but to hang up. He walks away feeling depressed, and then a screen appears on the floor while Rishi's voice tells him it is time for settlement. It turns out the game has earned 500,000 yuan. Bai falls into a wave of depression and thinks, why is this game earning money? I made it to fail. Rishi tells him he will receive 5,000 yuan based on the conversion rate, and also says the next settlement will happen after 90 days, meaning Bai has 3 more months to lose money. But Bai does not know how he is supposed to lose anything when the game keeps earning more every day. Rishi then tells him that he already has enough money for the next round, so the system will not increase his capital. In that exact moment, Bai receives a message saying he has earned an extra 1,000 yuan. We return to Li, who tells his assistant that Bai's company has caught his attention, and he will invest in it no matter the cost. Suddenly, Bai is watching a football match when Yang calls and tells him that Li wants to buy their company. Bai becomes extremely happy and is ready to accept, but a warning message appears telling him that he is forbidden from selling the company. He is forced to reject the deal and tells Yang to say no. Yang says the offer is worth millions.